right, so we're back for page 2 of our review. So now we're going to get into solving equations. So these ones, we're actually trying to find what the variable equals. Instead of it being given to us for evaluating or simplifying expressions down, now we want to find out what that variable actually is. So for this one here, first thing we're going to want to do is just combine anything we can on each side of the equals separately. So over here we can combine our negative 4 plus 2, which gives you our negative 2. Over here we have a couple of expressions with a, so 2a minus the 1a, so that's going to give us a 1a, which we don't need to write the 1 in there. And then we still got the minus 6. So now we can do a little bit of moving stuff around. So remember, you always want to tackle the stuff that's attached to your variable. So in this case, we want to get rid of this minus 6, and we can do that if we add. Always do the opposite. So that cancels those out, and now you're left with a positive 4. So a equals 4. And so now we can do the same sort of thing over here. We can do a little combining, so it gives us a 3p. Over here gives us a minus 18. And now we can get rid of the 3 by dividing it. So that gives us a negative 6. All right. And now the problems are going to get a little bit more challenging as we go, but we can see here we have a little bit of a choice. So we got a w and a w, we have nothing, a no w and a no w. So we're going to want to make sure we just move things accordingly. Now, if you're not sure how to proceed from here, here's what I would recommend. Start with your variables, and so move one of these two expressions. And as far as which one you should move, I always go with the smaller one. So in this case, the 8w is smaller than 12w, so I'm going to move that by subtracting it. And so I'm going to line those up. And again, we want to make sure we're on both sides of the equals. So we have a minus 8w on the right side and a minus 8w on the left side. So that's good. And so now we can bring down everything. Those are going to cancel. And we're left with a positive 12. And so now we can get rid of the 4. And you're left with 16, and now the last step is to get rid of that 4. So w equals 4. Now for this one, again, you want to still try to combine things you can combine on each side of the equals separately. Now on the left here, there's nothing we can do, so we're going to have to just write that down. But on the right, now it's tempting to want to combine the 3 and the 2 together, but they're not in parentheses, so you can't do it. Instead, you're going to want to distribute that 2 into the parentheses. So 2 times d is 2d, 2 times 8 is 16. So now we've gotten rid of the parentheses, so now let's do a little bit more combining. Again, we can't do anything on the left, but the 3 and the 16 can be combined. So we'll bring the 2d down first, and then add those to get 19. Now we have a problem that's pretty similar to what we did over here. So because we got a little bit of everything on either side, let's start with the variables, and we'll move the smaller one. So in this case, the 2d is the smaller, so that gets rid of those. And everything else is just going to come down. And so now, a couple more steps. Whoops, we don't want to add, because that's doing the same thing. We want to do the opposite. So we want to subtract 4. And so 3d equals 15. And now the last step is getting rid of that 3. Most of the time, the last step should be division. So if you're feeling like there's something more you have to do after that, you might want to go back and see if you made a mistake. Usually the last step is division. Not always, but most of the time. Okay, a couple more. Now we can do a little combining on the left side here because we have no variables, so those can be combined. So that's going to give you a positive 42. And then over here, we're going to have to distribute. So minus 21t, 7 times 6 is 42. All right, so now we got to get rid of all these things attached to the variable. So the first thing would be this positive 42. So we want to subtract it. Now what's weird about this one, they cancel here, but they also cancel over here. So remember, when that happens, you got to leave something behind. If there's nothing left on one side of the equals, you got to leave something. So zero's what we're going to have to leave. So we have 0 equals a negative 21t. And so now we still got to get rid of this negative 21. It's multiplied on, so we want to divide it off. And so that's going to give you 0 for t. All right. One more, and that'll wrap up this page. So parentheses, let's do a little distributing. So negative 4 times positive 9 better be a minus 36. 24 and the 3 cannot be combined, but we can distribute. All right. So now we can do a little bit of combining on the left, or excuse me, on the right side here. We can't do anything on the left, so let's just rewrite that. The 24 and the minus 24 are opposites, so they're going to cancel each other out completely. So the only thing left is the 6b. Now, because we have numbers on the left-hand side and we got b's on both sides, let's get the b's opposite. So we're going to want to move this minus 12b to the other side. So we're going to want to add that, which cancels those out. Still left with a negative 36, and now we have a positive 18b. So now we can get rid of the 18, and that's going to give you a negative 2. So b should be negative 2. Let me get it from out from behind me. So b equals negative 2. So that wraps up that question. All right, still got a couple more pages left, and then that'll wrap this up. See you in the next video.